That's why I have no problem with my reasoning has always been.
It wouldn't have been funny if I actually did trip.
Yeah. That was about it. Indie Comic-Con is and now that we're changing that.
Have something that's never done it.
Okay, now it's showing up. Trying to. Hold on a second. Try it again. Okay, yeah, definitely now.
All right, cool.
Hey, how's your ankle? Let's see. Yeah, I can still hear you. Okay, that should be good. Perfect. Yeah, that should work. Oh, we have a mic again. And it's working.
Grab the other one. So I guess in retrospect, it's not bad.
I think we had accidentally marked it at 60 and set when we thought it was, and they wanted it to be 99. But it's another one of those things that we had to
Oh, I've been weird. No. I've been weird.
The game's made to be like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that where we can do that. Honestly, one thing I may ask is that we don't need to have it first. But that we can have it name backwards.
So it's sort of the last letter.
I want to set of rules already ready to go for.
Well, it's
We had technical issues with the cables we thought we did. Because I was having an issue of the lights a lot. We already got something written.
That must be nuts.
In that circumstance, that make me feel a lot better. It was a pain in the ass.
Can I get a high five? High five! Go.
If I can get it, I can go ahead and start on it. If I can get some of the tournaments, I can go ahead and start on it.
There's only one guy.
NIK, BOUOP, right there, very top. Yeah, breakfast was packed full.
We'll watch. Start meeting.
I'm fine, man. Do that on capacity. I need her to do it, but she's not going to.
Is there an on button I need to hit? Is there an on button?
Looks like it.
Gabby.
Check. Ooh, nice. If you haven't signed in yet, there's a sheet up here. You can go ahead and sign yourself in.
There we go. How I have this set, the first page was the list of game show came up with here. I think the second sheet was where I had it, I was starting it. This third sheet, just to really there, is my Haskell schedule. And the fourth sheet is the same, well, some version of that same schedule, but arranged by day instead of by.
There's a lot of going down that breakfast thing. We're all in trouble.
Whatever this late.
Miss Lake. Yes, but yeah. Don't say that. I already got 3 kids. I had a meeting myself this morning when I told her.
I just need to get rules for those.
Sure, I want to
Yeah, I
know.
would say getting rules for these. Obviously, the chosen games we don't have to worry about until we actually have the game.
I don't know if she'll be firm.
And if
But she hasn't gone back. But
team, and if we go into groups,
I told her,
as they said,
ready for my health schedule, and I said, do we get you to bring the,
I mean, I'm sure we will. Given what most of the options for a show gonna be, I really doubt they're gonna line up. But, I mean, that being said.
It's just like at normal conventions. Sunday, you guys see how the crowd comes first in the room. So we'll be giving evil eyes to people as they come in this first hour or so before we go to Amanda. She is going to show you all about that table we talked about. And this is it in the box. This is how it starts and how it has to get back to. And it's very expensive, so it's important to know how, but it's wonderful. After that, we've got breakout groups. We're going to work in our breakout groups through lunch as well. And this is where everything we talked about yesterday gets finalized. You know, we're going to have the for sure tournament rules, not just we're going to kind of play these games. Like, no, this is the schedule for what we do have. It might not be every block of it, but it's going to be the rules and tournaments and everything. And that needs to get to the media team. The media team is hard at work designing everything, and they're going to have a presentation for us later, so we're not going to go in and bug them. About 12:45, I need a representative from every single breakout group to meet me here, and we will all go through the content of the media team together. What?
So I like how there's not a single tabletop person here.
No, well, they're not us.
They went to dance.
Really?
Yeah.
They're okay. They're fired. So we're going to do.
I don't know, I get to just, I'm going to have to get on to them.
Yeah, breakouts, and the media team will have their presentation. We may have a little bit, but a lot of us went through so much yesterday, we won't need to present too much as long as the work's getting done.
And also throughout the breakout times, we will be grabbing each department to talk with the board more in depth with what your needs and what the needs that are needed for the convention throughout the year. And then that is also where we will be doing our staff and voting.
Yeah.
So we won't be doing it publicly in the room, at least within your group, because we want to go more in depth on how things are going that not everybody will want to hear.
Yeah. There's gonna be expectations and maybe a lot of heart to hearts. Don't take anything personally, but you know, if there's been instances in the past where things weren't getting done, that's something we have to talk about to make sure that it's not gonna happen again. So I know a lot of the departments kind of have an idea of what their staff is, but until that meeting, it's not gonna be finalized. We really need everybody to go in this with the expectations so that we don't find ourselves in similar boats as before 4 months from now. Because we talked last night, we're like, we got a lot of work done yesterday compared to maybe our jaded and cynical thought of what would get done. So we're at least open to continuing. It's not a hard no like we thought. We can definitely continue, but that doesn't mean it's guaranteed. And you'll need to get to the other Wi-Fi. We found that out the other day. Yeah. You'll want to go into the complimentary one for some reason.
Oh,
The
yeah,
other one
I knew
does
that.
So, just to briefly recap, if you have everything in the hotel room, which you should, I need your room keys. Okay. You can do theirs.
I'm up for the
And then I'm gonna go, I've got a few rooms already, I'm gonna go ahead and sweep some rooms, so everybody give them mandate your attention.
All right.
Hey there!
So we got like half a room this morning, but that's all right. So, I don't know if those of you in the back can see this lovely unit. I'm sure you saw it right over here in the corner since Friday. It's kind of big. I'm going to tell you now, it weighs a little over 100 pounds. So, if you're a little weakling, you can't do it by yourself. Now, I can do it by myself on some occasions. Just not until my dad's awful. That was a fun day. So, if you saw that top came off, there are pieces in here. They look like this right now. Well, there's that piece here. It doesn't go.
We don't use that.
We don't use that, so you don't need it. You just put it to the side.
This is what we beat people with.
Yeah, that's what we beat people with. So, they come out like this. Your best bet, especially if it's your first or second time doing it, is to take all your pieces out. Which, as you can see, I know some of you in the back may not be able to see, but you can kind of just set them out. Now, I'll probably want somebody to come help me in a moment. I know there's a few of you who've helped me set it up. Well, you haven't set it up before. I'd rather have somebody who'd help me who's done it. No volunteers? Anybody?
I've never done it, but
Oh, Lynn's gonna come help me. Lynn's helped me before. We've done this a few times.
I'll go in a little bit of it.
Yes.
A little bit of the history of this. We bought this because one, we had old PVC piping that used to go over the top of the table where we had a banner. Then we upgraded to a metal welding piece that one of our old volunteers put together. It was great, but the thing was heavy and it took up a lot of space. And then looking at different small parts, you can break them. It's
Or
It's gonna be okay, Reggie.
I'm gonna kill Lynn.
It's gonna be okay, guys. I promise.
and just broke the table.
Nuh-uh. Anyway,
But no, it's actually pretty sturdy.
it's sturdy, yeah.
We're just putting an example of that.
Yeah. So, in most of those bags, there's pieces like this. You see how they come open? Yeah. So, there are the bigger ones, which if you want to there's this one stable, hopefully it doesn't fall. And your easiest bet is just leave that open and just toss them all back in there. And you can get all your pieces out. You want to look at them, that's fine. There are two base pieces. You want to start with these. Now, these are actually a lot heavier than they look.
yes.
So, at least be prepared. Now, there are what I call the six-suiters, like these, where it's got 6 of them. You can see here it's got 6 instead of 4. That's your next piece. I'm going to let Lynn start with that one. The screws, see the screwy parts? They come out, they go in. The screws go in the bottom. So she's going to start that on that side. Which, you know, that's how it goes. There are 2 more different pieces to go. And of course, this is not going on. Shocker. Not yet. It's going to be difficult always, right? That's how it goes. So, the next piece, I'm not going to screw it in right now, but this would be your next piece. If you look at it, it's got 2 small pieces. This one has 2 small pieces on the front as well, but if you see, they're slightly bigger, and it looks like you can put brackets in it. That's the third piece. This is your second one. So these 2 pieces, you can see where they got this little notch. They go up front, so you would screw them into your back 4 pieces here. I'm gonna let her do those first. She's almost there, she says. And then, yeah, you don't have to screw them in all the way right now.
Screw 'em in by twisting the point.
And you want to do it as evenly as possible. You can't just I'm going to screw this one all in, and then screw this one all in, and screw this one all in, and then screw this one, because you'll just throw yourself off. And then that'll go on top of that one. So, you can go.
Yeah, again, this is screwless, so screwing it all in is just, turning
yeah.
the holes on that.
Yeah, they screw into each other. When I say screw in. And that does it. You have that for 2 different sides. So, you got that one, and then of course this one. Nobody else want to help? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. Jordan's done it. Jordan, help me.
We must construct additional pylons.
While you're putting together, I was just talking of the
Yeah.
table. The table we started with dimensions. We pretty much started out with just kind of the typical raffle. Hey, put your email address or your name and we will call it, and you can win a free pass or a free DVD or something along those lines. At the time, nobody was even doing raffles when we did this. They just set up their table with flyers. But then everybody started doing raffles, and they were like, hey, we need to do something different. In 2010, we got that, the lottery wheel. And we've had that lottery wheel now for going on 7 years. And still nobody's done anything really different. When you're at the table, there'll be people all day coming and spinning that wheel. And what we do is you do 1 plus A, so that way we don't have people just standing there. We used to actually charge. We do 1 free spin a day, and then we would actually pay, like you pay to play. We were trying to do that just so people would ask to play again. We were trying to be kind of discouraging. Fact that they 50 cents if you spin again. But that's gambling, so we kind of stopped that. Not that anybody approached us on it, but we're like, hey, wait, this kind of gets into really gray area. So.
Okay, so you see how this 3rd piece goes up here? That's really high. So, well, it's not for us. Look at me.
It's best to
Yeah,
have tall.
right? So there is like, we're not obviously, screwing it all the way, as you can see. That's when you get out this piece here with the one I put aside earlier. The fun one, yes. Now, in theory, whoever had it before you put them back in order. But,
theory.
well, I've had it for several months, and I know I put it back in, so I know it's in order now. These ones, for some reason, don't like come out very well. Now, the end pieces, you'll be able to see, like if you were to look at it close enough, it has holes. Like this one's got holes on the bottom here. That means it's an end piece. Because it's going to have to screw into the top of this. Now, you don't screw it in yet.
Yeah.
Well, I know he knows. Then there are the 2 in the middle. I can get them out. And they want to not get bugged. You can expand it out when it wants to work. Where's the button? And screw it in. And then we're not going to go ahead there. This can go from 8 feet or 10 feet. So right now we're just going to put up the 8 feet. So there's another middle piece that can go on that top, but I won't worry about it. So we're just going to grab this other side right now. And depending on the tables you go to, some of them will allow you to have 10 feet of space, and most of them won't. But you kind of do it anyways. You don't have to. Don't be rude about it, obviously. But okay. This is your last piece. I don't know if you guys can see it from there, but it's got the other ones where they were just solid pieces. This one's got, this one's got 2. It's got a little handle here that spins. If I can get it open, it would help. Wiggle it. Sometimes it just doesn't like it. You have to rub it the right way, yeah.
Not doing it right.
Clearly not. And I've done this a lot of times.
Is it just the screw in the
Some days it just doesn't work.
Some days it just doesn't work. There we go. So, because with that first piece, you want to make sure your holes line up. So these are on, right now, they're on this side. So I need to make sure these holes are on that same side. There we go. You have them up. And then, you screw it right on in. Okay, usually you can measure these kind of out beforehand if you want, or not be on cord. And then you want, generally it's easier if you have two people and then the two of you get chairs and lift them up, or there is the option of you can take these off or not have them up there initially and keep them down here and then just lift them up like that. Sometimes it helps. So I'm going to give a chair because I'm short. Autumn's the only person tall enough to do this without a chair. Yes, be very careful. No, I've stood on chairs many a time.
I'll grab that.
You grab that one?
Because I'm nice, I guess I'm going to have some stability. And sometimes it helps.
We don't want you to die.
Yeah, like we're going to let them quote unquote put it in. There's little screws on the top. And then you just kind of screw in. Evenly, of course. All this has to be done pretty easily.
You can't quite do it.
Can't quite do it.
Can't quite play Pokemon Go at the same time.
Oh no, definitely not.
Poor thing.
It's a bit.
I'm guessing since there's all these others.
Well, I've been doing it to where I don't put the third piece on and then lift up the third piece. I just find that easier.
Who's in the death laptop?
But then it screws in. I'm not gonna worry about it because we're not really setting up. So there's that part. That's all. That's the main base of it. And then we get you. Oops, sorry, Jake. These are for TVs, but then there's also on the back I had the ceiling pieces. That's what I'm gonna call them, the ceiling pieces. It's got little itty bitty pockets up here. Little bitty pieces that look like this. They screw into the front part here where that 6er went. And then we have, like I said, I'm not gonna worry about putting the whole thing up. We have what look like little tables, like this. And if you see there's little notches here on the bottom, you put these little things in the front. If you can't see in the back, I'm sorry, there's the little ones down here. You kind of line it up, put them on, and it kind of locks in when you obviously have bolts in when you're trying. You kind of sit it, and it sits there.
And
So
it
this
normally
is that.
doesn't fall over.
Yeah,
You
you do it on both sides, and then there's the tables, and then you get that. There's little bars. These go in here. Don't knock that over because you forget it's not actually screwed in.
You do that.
That might
I
actually.
tried to catch it.
The one thing that actually
Yeah.
Not coordinated enough for this.
And you put those in there. The TV line should break if you have TVs.
We don't want that to happen.
No, we definitely don't want that to
Yeah, we
happen.
probably
And
could
then
have the TV.
we have set TVs already that have little brackets on them. You just kind of bring the TV and you bracket it up, and it sits right there. There's little pieces they fit in here on both sides. Voila. That's the unit basically. But wait, there is more. So, no, the piece that is used as the storage unit, you can just put with the lid, and you want to close it generally because it doesn't slide around. And then it's got this lovely little table thing that just sits in here like this, and you push it out front. And you're like, voila, and you have a podium.
Do I
Yes.
get that free with my $20 purchase?
Right, right.
And all your and all your other convention people are doing it.
Yeah, and everybody's looking at you like, oh my gosh, that unit is amazing, you know? And then you put your sheet over it. Now, sometimes, depending, you'll have, if they bring you a table, sometimes they have some tablecloths, sometimes they don't. You may or may not want to use this on your prize table, but if not, you can use it up here. You put your lovely wheel on the podium, and then that's where they spin. But normally, you also have a banner up here, which I don't think we have the. Yeah, that's fun to hang up. Yes, Steve.
If I were to right now, we don't fly offer?
Wait, what? But yes, so there's normally a banner up here, and it says OMG, kind of like this past year was all Katamari themed, obviously. And we have Velcro ties that we usually get them up there with, so usually you grab your chair and you're trying to even it out, make sure it's even. It depends on whether you're using the 8 foot or the 10 feet, of course, which obviously the 10 feet is going to be a little wider. You have your table back here. Now, depending on where you're at, like when we were at OhioCon, We had a bunch, we had it set far up, and then we had the back space. But at some place like Tricon, it was up against the wall, and you had a table kind of sitting here, and you're like, I have very little space, but you kind of gotta, you don't want to be in the way of anybody, line control, that kind of thing. So there's some tech. Yeah.
Mine wasn't that, so that OhioCon last year.
Well, yeah, that's OhioCon.
Yeah.
That's just how it rolls.
And another thing too, depending on the size of the convention, we will add lights or not to it.
Yes.
If you get to a small convention, you don't really need lights or anything, because that's gonna stick out enough.
Because we stick out enough at places
But
like EvilCon or,
when you go to a convention that's 10,000 or more, you have to stand out.
Yeah, like ASIN or MTAG or OhioCon. Now, the lights, what we have is we have little brackets. They fit precisely up on these things pretty easily, and then you can kind of move them around. And we have a light board that you kind of come over here with a power cord, or over there with a power cord, because you have the TVs plugged in as well. Which, you put them in, and you're like, oh, I want it stationary, I just want it one light. You don't want to do that. You want it to be bright and flashing. You want to get people's attention.
And halfway blind.
Yes, and halfway blind them, yes.
That's what gets their attention.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And they're like, what is that blinding light over there? It's,
But on one of your TVs,
It's
when
a-
you're setting it up, you'll have to kind of take note of your surroundings. You have to be like, well, I've got the guys who like to play their tubas over here. Well, I obviously don't want my video playing there, so I'll just make the slideshow. We have a slideshow that will make, and it'll show what we're doing, like the wheel colors, what prize levels they are, and that'll go on here. It'll be a slideshow, and then you'll be like, I'm gonna put the videos over here. Or, you can, because you can switch them back and forth. We have little boxes, which, in theory, if you're with somebody, they already know how to use them. Or you could be with Hooper and not know how to use them. Man, I can't make fun of him. He's not in here.
You can make fun of people.
really don't know how to use them.
Yeah, well, they're not that hard. They really aren't. Anyway, they're little. They are pretty self-explanatory, but if whoever's here should be able to help you. If not, you can always be like, hey, how do I make this work? And I'll be like, this is how you make it work.
At MTAC, I just yelled, Amanda, the slideshow stopped. What do I do?
Basically, yeah. And I'm like, all right. And of course, I was like, I can use this app on my phone, fix it. So we got it going. And then, whew, it's warm. You get warm doing this, by the way.
Yes.
You really do. It doesn't matter if you're underneath the air vent, with like right there. It's still warm. There is, do what? Yeah, she's in a turtle suit. I don't know why. She's silly. But there is, when we get the wheel, now that we're actually we got the whole setup done, you have a table, of course, that's got prizes on it. You want to make it look pretty. You don't want to just toss prizes on it. That looks tacky. You want to be like, okay, so here's it nice and pretty. You can have somebody do that, It's not generally that hard. I mean, John made it look beautiful at GMX. I don't know if y'all have, I've got pictures somewhere. There was some on the slideshow, but for some reason, it's not working. Which I did twice that slideshow. I'm not very happy. That's another story. But, so, what you're gonna do is generally you'll have 2 or 3 people, depending on the convention. Like Tricon, we could have had 2 and been fine. Places like OhioCon, you definitely want 4 or 5. But that's something that we're gonna have to decide later, and of course in the budget, there's gonna be, before, like this last year, I know some of you did help with tables and stuff, where we did $10 vouchers, not vouchers, we did $10 meal credit, basically, if you had your receipts. We're not really doing it that way anymore. We're gonna have a certain set limit per convention, so we're not gonna spend like $800 or something sending you to Evansville, for EvilCon. I love EvilCon, don't get me wrong, but it's not $800, You're not gonna have to pay for parking, you don't have to pay for the hotel, you have to pay for the hotel, but you don't have to pay to park at the hotel on top of that, like you would at ASIN.
It was like $15 a day.
Yeah, we decided to walk 2 miles there and 2 miles back because it was so expensive to park to save money. But so like ASIN, you're gonna want higher levels of dollars. So what the treasurer and whoever decides to go to conventions and stuff decide to do, which is basically gonna be me and then whoever decides to join me on most of them, we're gonna come up with a set budget beforehand and be like, well, you can spend $300 on hotel, food, and what for this weekend, and then your staff member or your board member, whoever's there, whoever's gonna be in charge is gonna be in charge of that card, and they'll be like, okay, we're gonna pay for this meal, and then we're gonna pay for your hotel room, but you have to pay for everything else yourself, obviously we're not going to buy things for you. If you want to go, yeah, question.
This is gonna sound silly when I say this, but if we were to go to like one of those conventions, do you guys provide like an LCA or some way of saying, hey, this is here's a breakdown of what we're asking for and what they're going to provide us and things like that?
That's one of the things that's going to be discussed later on. Like we have to get together on the pricing and stuff, what we're providing, and it's going to be different. Like this year, we paid for a hotel, we paid for a tank of gas for one vehicle up to like $30, and then we paid for $10 food a day. That's really high. That's a lot of budget just draining away because we're.
I'll chime in as a treasurer on that.
Yeah, do that.
It's not bad in theory when there's conventions where there's only 2 or 3 people working. It's like $20 a day or something like that. But when you get to conventions where 6 to 8 people show up, and then you're looking at $60 to $80 per day after 3 or 4 days, then you're up into the $300, $400 just in food alone.
Well, I was just talking about having like some kind of paperwork saying, hey, this is what the con's supposed to be providing us. This is what you're required. These are the people who are supposed to be showing up.
Okay.
Little things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's what it is. We're like years past we had rules, things that they never really were given out very firmly. The difference is this year is that there'll be a budget given. So whoever is going, we can try to say, hey, we want a cheaper hotel, and you might want a little bit extra for food or gas, or you want to stay closer to the convention. It's up to the people going, but this is all the money you have to go to this convention that we're providing. And years past, with reimbursements, it's been a nightmare because a lot of times, we'll get receipts and everything like that late. I'll just go ahead and hop into this real quick. We'll be having a form, just a reimbursement form.
Yeah.
Their expense. It's just a plain business expense sheet. And what it happens is when you go out and if that a board member will have a credit card at all times. Every board member is going to be having a credit card. They will have a large limit, but they'll have enough limit to get through a convention. So if a board member's not there, you will need an expense sheet for anything that's other than hotel. So what that needs to be is just filled out and mailed. It's not going to be given by email or anything along that line. You have to mail it to our PO box within 30 days, and then a check will be sent out after that. So, because I hate to say it's a nightmare. I keep hearing people all the time personally like, I have money I need back. And then I'm like, okay. And then I don't hear nothing. And then 5 months later, I'm like, here's a bunch of receipts. And I'm like, I didn't have that planned. So.
Or you reach me, and I say a few times, okay, that's great, but you may want to reach Dan, because that adds another layer, and I'm doing a million things already, and not to trivialize, because we never want to do that, but when we have a million hats on, it is easier for us to not be thinking about something that's super important to you. Not to be rude or anything, we're just doing a million things, and that's why you should be proactive, reaching out to the treasurer specifically.
And this way, it just makes a easy way to track things. Because a lot of times I don't know what things have been approved and what hasn't been approved. And this way you have an explanation of what it is. And when I actually put it into a tax form and everything at the end of the year, I have a definition of it instead of, I think this was for this. I don't know. It's just a random receipt. So
I might have been accused. I might have done that a few times. We're just not going to
all
go
board
into that.
members have done that.
Yeah, that's true. But rules. One of the biggest things is if the con is going to pay for your hotel room, do not bring anybody else. I don't care if it's the 4 of us at a con and then Elijah decides, oh, I'm going to EvilCon too, and I don't care. He's not allowed in the room. I straight up, I'm not allowing him in the room. It's just how it's going to go. You're not allowed to have anybody else in your room. If you want to go party,
So
go
the
to
rules
their
don't
room.
allow Elijah.
Yeah, don't allow Elijah. Yeah, that's what it is.
Not Elijah.
Yeah. You can go party with them in their room or wherever they're going to party, but do not bring them into your room. The problem is, there's other people in your room. I don't care, you don't know. Granted, we all obviously know Elijah, but still. It's one of those things. You can't make an exception for Elijah and then not make an exception for Jane Doe. That's just how it goes. Second rule, no illegal activity. if you are caught or if it is found out that you have done any kind of illegal activity, especially in a con paid for room or in a when you're on the clock, say working the table, you can be banned from OMG Con for life.
Make sure that
Promise?
make sure your anime is streamed, not
Yes.
the other way.
I'll mention this, is that every time you're in a OMG Con room, definitely in the convention, that's not your room, that is Pat's room. And
Yes.
if something goes wrong in there, it goes bad upon the event, and not you, because you're just a volunteer.
Yeah.
And you can say, I don't have nothing to do with this, and leave, and there's gonna be no repercussions. It's all gonna come back to the organization as a board.
Yeah.
I didn't know I could do cocaine off the back of the toilet. Well, you know what? The police knew, and now we're in trouble as a legal entity, and it's a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that anyway for health reasons. Please don't. So what's everybody think of the table? She got that up and already coming back down in like a half hour.
That's
The
not,
first time
yeah.
I touched it, it took hours. So I mean, don't feel bad if it takes you longer.
No, the wheel is at the unit. If you guys really want, I can go get the unit and show it to you later. Most of you have seen the wheel. We've had it for 7 years.
It's grandpa.
Yeah. What happens is generally like I said, you have 3 people. One person is going to be to mark badges, as I say. And if I can get the thing working, I took a picture of it. The badges, I know you guys have seen badges, obviously. What you're going to do is somebody's going to have like a Sharpie, and they're going to go mark it. And on Friday, they're going to write a note on the back of the badge. A little bitty, you don't have to do a little bit on small things. Nobody, some of the people like to keep their badges forever. Like, oh, it's my memento. You want to make sure you write it small enough where it's not in anybody's face. No, on Saturday you do it in. On Sunday you do it D. And anybody gets the trail, So, they get 1 spin a day, as we talked about, because otherwise it's gambling. So that person marks their badge, they can start a line if you need a line, if not. And then somebody's over here holding the wheel. Now, before when we were on a table, you're sitting and you're kind of like this holding the wheel and your shoulders start to hurt. Now it's so much better because you can just sit here kind of like this, and the base of the wheel, you're holding down kind of like this, one person marks, one person spinning, and then you have your customers come up front here, and they're going to spin it. Go, one way to mix it, the other way to play, and ball drops out, they win stuff. I mean, that's pretty simple, you'd think. You have to explain it, though. Yeah, you gotta make sure, you gotta tell them slowly a lot of times. And then you give them stuff, basically. We'll have flyers. I think we're doing bookmarks again this year, and buttons, the normal. And the prize levels go up. That's how it goes. Any questions, real quick? I thought I saw some a minute ago. What was your question, Jackie?
Oh no, I was actually going to make the same comment of make sure you tell them to spin grandpa slowly because someone can get a finger crushed.
Yeah, there have been bleeding from people being like, I'm going to spin it like this. And then the little handle smacks them and makes them bleed. So they do need to do it slowly. There are some more rules. Make sure. It goes back to customer service training we had. You want to have appropriate conduct at all times. You don't want to be like, all of us standing around here, there's people coming up trying to figure out what's going on, and we're all just like, did you see that one? That was a good one, right? You don't want to do that. That's inappropriate conduct.
Don't pull a Geneva. Don't be sitting there. Hey, baby.
Well, you definitely don't want to do that. A biggest thing, like if the slideshow, I had it on there. Another big thing, not biggest thing, I've already said biggest thing like 4 times. Another big thing, do not badmouth the con you are at. They gave you a free badge. Don't be a douche. I'm sorry, don't be a douche. You don't be like, oh, I hate MTech. In the middle of MTech, you can do that in your hotel room later. Make sure it doesn't get back to them, obviously. You don't want to be like, man, MTech's terrible.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
You are an ambassador.
Yeah, you are an ambassador. If you start just badmouthing, we've almost had stuff like that happen in the past where somebody said something at a convention about them being terrible. And then relations with that con almost went very sour, and it would have been very bad.
A lot of things too is don't ever say you're better than this con you're at.
Yeah, don't be like,
Don't-
we're a
that's-
million times better.
Yeah, if people ask about the con, you could say generalizations, like, oh, well, we have a little bit more focus in this area, so we have a slightly bigger game. Or,
Yeah.
okay, we have more this.
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah, you can say, but you don't say like, oh man, this game is so small here, it sucks compared to ours. You don't say things like that. You know, you do try to sell the convention, and you can compare things that are there, but just do basic measurements and things like that. Not like, oh, our tournaments are run better than here.
If you do ask something like that, one of the best examples is on one of those CDs. We do have our previous year's video, like the one you guys, well, I don't know all of you are here yet, but the video that we showed Friday morning of the previous year's convention. We're like, here's an example of our prize room on that video as it's going through. Granted, the video may not be ready at all times, but it's a perfect example. Most of them will have dimension, like we'll include the convention center dimensions. You'll be like, oh, here's dimensions, here's our room, this is what we have here. You just don't want to be like, oh, we're just a million times better because we have this better than them. Don't do that. It's rude.
And like we mentioned yesterday on just the one slide we have, you're not a salesman when you're there. You're having a great time, and you are just a person. You're wonderful. You don't have to beg. You don't have to push. If they want to come, you'll help them out. But you're not going to go be like, oh, hey, we're really strapped to cash right now. Not to say that that's never happened.
So some of the colored balls, we'll break it down later, but there are blue and red balls. Those are our winner balls. That sounds bad, but they're all winners. The blue ball is a prize off the table, and the red ball is a prize off the table, and a free badge to OMG Con 2017 right now. If they win that, at most conventions now, we weren't allowed to do it at places like ASIN, but most conventions you'll have a bell. If that ball comes out, you're bringing it. Now, I suggest going up here and doing it like this really loud. Don't do it right here.
If you're allowed, if we're allowed to ring it.
Yeah, if we're allowed to ring the bell. Like at ASIN, like I said, we weren't allowed to ring the bell. And we did it at OhioCon. We were pretty busy. We'd be like, don't forget your free spin. You can do that. Don't do that at ASIN. They're not allowed.
You got to read the contract.
Yeah,
before you go
in the slideshow I did, I said the staff member in charge or the board member in charge is generally going to know all that for you, and they will make sure to tell you beforehand that is going to be on that staff member. Granted, most of you are pretty intelligent people, so.
And I will say most conventions don't have any contracts
Yeah.
when it comes to this. We learned the hard way because we were that way, and we got. Well, let's say we did have a verbal contract where it said, hey, if you have a table, you have to follow this, but we had nothing to sign. And from now on, we're making people sign a contract before they have a table.
So, one thing, when putting this up, it is kind of like a puzzle. I don't know if any of y'all can see that. There is a lip. Look out. There is a lip in there. It's got like a flat lip. I don't know. If you need to see it, I can always open it up. Yeah, it's in there. Oh, keep it up.
Keep it up for the photo. Work it.
Now I need you to do 3 reps.
Anyways, but there is a lip
That
in
was
there.
only 2.
That is, no, that was only 2 reps. That was me 2. It was a half one.
Yeah.
I am on the foot. I wouldn't move. Okay. So that's where you want to put the flat of the bases, which I think these are the bases. Yes. Which this is what you really want to do reps with right here. But it slides right in the middle, and that kind of helps keep its shape. So you definitely want to make sure you get that first. And then you got to kind of finagle it where it's in there. It does take a few tries to get it.
And you will not be this fast the first time, and that's absolutely okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely okay.
But just make sure you're not forcing anything. This was very expensive, and it's very phenomenal when you see it up. And we can use this for years and years if we take care of it.
If we take care of it, yeah. I mean, it's a great unit. As you saw, it goes up and comes down so easy. Well, when you're by yourself, it's a lot harder. It's not preferable when you're by yourself, but
It's not.
but it is possible. It's not fun, but
Just making it work. Oh, this is wonderful. Have self-awareness.
Yeah.
We learned about that yesterday.
Crazy.
Synonyms. All right, can we tell everybody up here thank you, Amanda and her Ninja Turtles. Now,
there is more to go over, but it's not super big.
I guess I'm going to tie this in since we really didn't have this. I want to go a little bit over our advertising among different cities, just basic advertising things we do,
Yeah.
since this goes into a con, tables. I was just gonna go quick over, I know a lot of you all are in different cities, different areas, things like that. We really wanna get promotional material out a lot earlier this year.
Backwards.
Years past, we've always had flyers and stuff at conventions. We didn't do a very good job getting flyers out this year at all to anybody. That was most,
Yay!
I don't know why, but we just did, we had them. It's just,
Well, we did have-
a lot of people.
Had lots of buttons and
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of people asked for them, but then I never got any kind of addresses or emails or anything like that. I just kind of heard that people kind of needed them. The big thing is we'll have something on there that, at least on our volunteer and staff, says if you need buttons or flyers or anything like that, just send us a message, an email or something like that. We can mail you a box. It doesn't, the price of the box is not a big deal. It's gonna be like $6 to $8. It's a lot cheaper than driving it out to you all. And so, there's a few different types of advertisings we do. We have our flyers that we mostly strictly use for conventions. We had those, sponsored by, Book and Music the last 3 years, 2 years? 3 years, yes, 3 years. We keep those at conventions mostly because if we put them in other businesses, it doesn't really work so well to be like, hey, we're going into a gaming shop and this is promoting another gaming shop. So you don't want any kind of cross kind of sponsorships that way their Book and Music is getting out to people that will shop at their store, but it's only in that setting where it's kind of an open platform. The easy way we do it to shops is actually these trifolds here. This is something we started back last year. It has all of the information and everything of the convention. It has our guest list of when we have a few guests. We try to get this out first of the year with the guests. This year we're actually going to make one without any guests beforehand, so that way the information is out. It's mostly going to have like hotel information, things like that on there. And then by the time we get our guests, we should be sold out of a few of those hotels, so that way we can take them off the list or just at least put sold out on there to make it look like more of a urgency to book a room. Also, we use buttons. Buttons are mostly used for conventions. We do like to give them to businesses that people will wear them in game shops, game stores, things like that. For some reason, people will see a button and they just put it on themselves. I don't know why, but like, hey, cool button, straight on their shirt. They don't even know what it says. They're just like, cool. Also, this next year we'll be doing lanyards. We're looking into doing full color lanyards, like those super nice dye ones that you all see anime ones of. Yeah, kind of like the Funimation ones, except they'll be a lot more colorful. Those aren't cheap, but it's one of those things that I want to have as a premium item for our pre-reg next year, and also what we actually give out on tables. So it's going to be another level of the ball on the table. And another thing too we'll have out early is our t-shirts. We will have printed t-shirts hopefully before the first of the year. We're going to set aside about 20 to 30 shirts for the table. And what we would like is everybody to give a size before they go, and we'll give you 2 shirts and to wear those just strictly at the table. You don't have to wear them. You can wear them over another shirt or something like that, but it's just to try to create more of a business-like uniformity. Makes parents feel a lot more comfortable when they come up to see everybody in a more uniform type of way than just, hey, I've got this crazy, anime shirt on and this guy's just playing Game Boy. I don't know if I want to bring my kid to that event.
It's like the coveralls again, right?
Like the coveralls, but just strictly a convention t-shirt. And we'll actually have multiple sizes of that. But other than that, I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that you do have the opportunity to get promotional material. None of the promotional material will be ready until like another probably couple of months, but we will let everybody know about that. And also when we do that, there'll be like proper ways to actually approach a store, things like that to see if they'll be advertising. You don't want to just go in and be like, hey, just throw this on here, I'm crazy, and then we're doing this type of thing. businesses, if they put it in their store, they're giving up space that they can sell stuff. And that is retail space that's going to a mill, they're not making any money. So be very appreciative, be understanding if they say no. Don't, be like, oh, that store is junk, I'm gonna, leave. They have the right, we're not paying them anything. An idea that we did try to do in 2015 was we tried to link the store back and we put a coupon code in with it. I don't know if we'll do that again, but we did like a $2 off thing off of pre-registration with the coupon code, and it had it specific to the business. That was a headache. It was really great because it actually was easier to get in the stores and say, hey, can we put this up? It has a coupon code. We'll link your store on our website to say they can pick up a coupon at your store. It just was a lot more work. So it's just depending on if somebody wants to do that work or not.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much all I have to say.
All right, so what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go back into our breakout groups. Pretty much everybody's going to the same place except for cosplay because we're going to be getting out of the rooms. If you have not got out of your hotel room, take 10 minutes. It shouldn't take any more than 10 minutes. You can bring your stuff here, take it to your vehicle, and then bring me a stack of keys here. Then go into your breakout groups. Remember that our goal today is to have actionable things that are ready in place, all your rules, categories, everything, not vague, down to the wire. And at 12:45.
One more thing before we go. Anybody who's done with their breakout groups, we have all of our storage unit stuff that we brought up in bins. There is still more that needs to come over. I would say maybe 3 to 4 more carloads. What we're doing is we've just got them in plain old cardboard boxes, and we have tons of storage stuff. We want that labeled so that way when we take it back and put it in there, we can find things when we get it in there. We're not worried about prizes that usually took a big chunk of it, but we want to make sure all the stuff that we need, such as promotional material, registration material, things like that, is all together and labeled so we can find it quickly.
Yeah, so, and that also goes for a couple groups have a lot of people, BG and tabletop, your B squad, if you will, send them over, because too many heads and then you're not really getting ahead. I just used head twice in the same sentence. Anyways, group around. We'll give you about a half hour or so to start getting in the groove, and then the board will start coming around to have some come to Jesus moments about staffing, scare you. And it's Sunday, it's the Sabbath, and then we'll have lunch. And like I said, we'll stay in the breakout groups during lunch, but don't let yourself get caught on what if moments. We could sit and talk about, well, what if this happens? What if this happens? Just don't go down the rabbit holes. Get yourself some actionable items for the weekend.
Something I'd like each of the groups to do is to get a rough estimate of how many OMG bucks you're going to need throughout the weekend.
Everybody get that?
At least several.
Yeah.
More
And
than
it's,
several.
Yes.
I think like a monetary amount, like we want $1,000, not that you're gonna get that, but, that's like
But I will
however
shoot out how much we will give out. It's all really going to be depending on how well the convention looks like it's going in. On a minimum side, you're looking at 2,500. On a high side, probably up to 5,000. So do give a minimum and a maximum amount on everything, and then I can total it all up and then shoot it back and say, okay, well you asked for 100 for your minimum and 200 for your maximum for like a tournament. After doing the numbers, looks like we can do 80% of it, so we'll be 160 type of thing.
and make sure that your key item for the weekend, Smash Tournament, cosplay contest, booster draft, those can be higher than the rest, but make sure that they're worth it. Especially cosplay contests, I feel like they've gotten cheapened out in last year's when they are winning the big three. All right, so you can't go home. Go ahead.
Back to tables real quick. If you are like, hey, I just heard about this super convention that I think is going to be awesome for us to advertise at, go ahead and message me. I can't hear about them all. I can't research them all the time. I mean, if one pops up and you know about it, it's closed right here, message me. We'll look into it. I can't guarantee you we'll go or anything, but if you're like, oh, hey, that's right by my house, I'd like to go, or I need extra promotional material, let us know. Or if you think it would be good to try and do table swap, let us know. And I will have an application up to help with tables soon. I know some of you are already going, like, in 2 weekends. I know there's KentuckyCon and a KaiCon. Great. If I can get promotional materials for you, that would be great. And we'll try and have you guys advertise there for us already. KaiCon's already guaranteed we have a table, and KentuckyCon, Shing is all about chilling with us too. So.
All right.
If your department has guests or needs tables or anything like that, please let me know so that I can put them in the map.
Perfect. All right, it's 10 o'clock. By 10:10, you should be completely out of your room with your key up here, and then breakout rooms.
Yeah,
Meetings that are made for
yeah, that's basically. There's not much. I mean, there's Random Fest.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's already happening.
I'll get ready for you.